start with the roll call. Woody Henderson, present. Joe Bailey, not present. Heather Larson.
Here.
Reed Weimer.
Yes.
And Nick Church.
Here.
Okay, we'll do the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We got an agenda here. I did.
You took my, it's fine. You can use that agenda. That's fine.
Okay.
Anybody take out 5E?
5 discussion. So we're leaving.
Yeah, we're going to leave I went around to teachers majority, so we don't even need that.
So there is no so you need to do the declaration that there's no conflict of interest.
I declare conflict of interest. Okay. Everybody.
I will make a motion to approve the agenda with the removal of item 5E.
I'll second.
All in favor? Courtney, aye. Heather?
Yes.
Reed?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
All right.
Oh, already?
Get you out of
Teacher
here.
report.
Right. Thanks. I was really going to make Ronnie make dinner tonight, but get me out of here fast. Dang it. Well, I don't have a whole lot to present as far as data because we are taking our diagnostics this week. And so since I'm kind of first, I just thought that I would kind of give you a day in the life of junior high in Red River Valley Charter School. So I teach math and history and ELAR, and then K through 8 PE, just in case you weren't for sure. And so I start every morning with history, and this year I'm doing New Mexico history. So every other year I'll do world history and then New Mexico history. And the kids are pretty excited this year, so that makes me a little bit excited as well. I have a very small class this year, starting with 11, but we never know how that's going to end up by the end of this school year. We could gain or lose, who knows. That also sometimes that's nice to have a small class because you think you can, really get through things nicely. But then if they're not willing to discuss, it kind of just shuts down any kind of discussion that you're trying to have, or you think it's going to go, really well, especially when you're discussing history or something like that. But so far, so good. They're awesome. They talk back to me in a good way. And so we start every morning with history, and that's from 8 to 9. And then 9, I start math. And so math I teach, since it's a combined grade, I do teach separate maths. And so I'll teach one grade and then the other. In my classroom, I teach out of an 8th grade. So what I do is I start the 7th grader, which is really cool because you never finish a curriculum in a year. They just stack it so high where it's almost impossible to get through an entire book of curriculum without completely, skipping some stuff. So it's nice to space it out and to get through an entire book. And it makes them feel really accomplished when they do. It kind of boosts their confidence in different ways, which is really fun. And then in English language arts this year, different novels.
Can I interrupt real quick? I want to just brag on Becca, Ms. Pockert, real quick, because one of the high school teachers reached out and said, I can really tell the kids who came from Red River Valley Charter School, they're enthusiastic, they know what they're doing, they ask questions, and he said that confidence is obviously there. And so he sent a kudos text to me and then an email to Ms. Pockert for her. So, okay, go ahead, sorry.
Is that from Moreno Valley?
It was from Cuesta High School.
Cuesta High School, nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
And English language arts, we read a couple of different novels, and this year I'm starting with The Outsiders, which is always fun. They really grasp onto the outsiders, and I like starting with it. And then we'll do some of our short stories in between, and then we'll see. I've been talking to Miss R over here about it, but sometimes I do the Odyssey and sometimes I don't. So we'll see what this crew can handle by the end. But Odyssey is a hard book, anyways, regardless of when you read it. But it also gives them the sense of accomplishment. Like I have some high school students come back and be like, "I can't believe you made me read the Odyssey, but it was really nice," and like thanks in the end. But I also don't want to overwhelm them, so I might end up doing Call of the Wild or something like that. But those are my two big novels with things in between, and that's it for in the classroom for me. And so every afternoon at 1:15, I'll go get a PE class, and then I do PE from 1:15 to 2:30. And Miss Polk comes in and teaches my kids science. And then at the end of the day, we do the MLSS kind of like study hall, so they get to catch up on things. And there's something else I was going to mention about that. We're learning French words this year, and as an extra, I have some students that could be challenged in different ways. So I did incorporate the vocabulary packets this year. So it's something that they have to finish within a week. But I give little incentives like I'll buy you lunch if you get a 100 and stuff like that, because they're really pretty difficult and challenging. And I bet I took yeah. And then in PE, super fun. It is so much fun to watch these guys go through every grade every year. I do only the physical fitness test with the 5th through 8th graders. They have PE on Thursday. So I have kindergarten on Monday, then 1st and 2nd on Tuesday, 3rd and 4th on Wednesday, and then 5th through 8th on Thursday, which is a big group, but I kind of like the big group of the bigger kids because you can do more with them and play bigger games and stuff like that, which is really fun.
Does that test have the chin-ups on?
Yes. So they have a choice. They can do the pull-ups or push-ups. So they have that choice. But whatever they start with in the fall, they have to do in the spring so they can see a change, so we can measure it. And so that's always fun. So that'll be coming up probably in a couple of weeks. And then I'll do it in the spring. And we'll run the mile. And they'll do the push-ups or the pull-ups. And then sit-ups. And then the shuttle run. Did y'all do the shuttle run growing up? Anybody? It's to measure agility, pretty much. So it's just a fast sprint where you're running and picking up an eraser and running back. But
It's like lines.
Yeah.
Basketball.
Yeah. But you have to pick up an eraser and set it down and get through. And anyways, it's a lot of fun. And I love to watch them in the spring. And the mile is the thing that they love to hate the most because they talk about it so much. Not the mile, not the mile. But then they're actually really enthusiastic about it. So, yeah, but it's fun.
Sorry, what grade did you 7th and 8th, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you do any type of like computer
Typing? Yes, we will. I usually start that in closer to October, I guess.
I think that's super important.
Yes.
In the high school is knowing how to type.
Yes, we do a typing course. I believe it's just called typing.com or something. We try to do the free one. So whichever free one isn't like crazy.
Good at it?
Yeah. Sometimes I get the ones that are still like, even last year I still had a few that were trying to chicken pick,
Yeah.
But no, I make them because it's tough. Yeah. We do that during study hall a lot.
But I think it's really cool to see an older person's fingers fly through the keyboard, and so they want to get to there.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah, some of them really do.
It sounds like you're mixing it up pretty nice so far.
Yeah.
Keeping it
It's fun.
interesting. I
Yeah.
like that.
Any other questions for me? Sorry, I didn't have a lot to present.
It's hard when you're the very first, August.
Right.
You're like,
I just started.
But if you do, you guys are more than welcome to come hang out anytime. You've already been through it for 2 years, and you've already been through it for 4 with all your girls.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Well, thank you, Ms.
If you wanna-
Parker.
If you want to hide from making dinner,
feel free to stay as long as you want.
I might hang out for a little bit
As long as you want.
All right. Well, you guys have my report in front of you. We are sitting at 76 SEG. That's a little low. We've got a couple of spaces in first, second, and a couple of spaces in 3, 4, 5, 6 is full up, and then 7, 8 is our smallest class. So 76 SEG today. That could change. We hope. We got a really cram-packed calendar coming up. We just started diagnostics testing today, and teachers have until September 19th to get that finished. Music from Angel Fire is coming tomorrow. Picture Day Wednesday. Trip to the Tip Friday. It is a jam-packed week, and I have to fit in a full evacuation as well, and it's supposed to rain. So we'll see how that goes. And then,
Yeah, I saw y'all were doing. Was it a fire drill? The other
yeah, we
day?
did a fire drill. The first 4 weeks of school, you have to do fire, evac, lockdown, and there's no specific order that you have to do it. But I like to do fire and fire first because those are easy and they're not scary. I like to follow that with evac because it's just a fire drill a little bit further, and then I like to let parents know, hey, lockdown drill is coming up next week. So kind of give them that space. So I'm really hoping the weather will hold out. Tomorrow's pretty much a wash with the music from Angel Fire anyway in the morning. So maybe we can get out before the rain hits in the afternoon. We'll see. I will provide the beginning of the year data at the September meeting. And then maintenance is looking pretty good. I'm still requesting quotes for the awning in the back. CC&D won't fix anything else. They said our punch list is done, that they're not doing anything. I CC'd you on that email, and the sign looks great. Cody's going to come up and touch up the red paint and seal the back. The playground construction, there was a gentleman that was supposed to come by today, but I read the email, it said today or tomorrow. He's going to look at what we've got to get rid of, what that's going to entail, fence it off, and then start moving it. Our playground equipment should be here by Wednesday, according to Ron. So we're all very excited about that. And then I have my PO in for my fencing. So I'm thinking at this point, we're just going to either start on the backside with fencing, let these guys finish so they're not in each other's way, and then they can come around the front and that'll look good.
That makes sense because you don't want them to be putting in new fencing before this is done.
Absolutely.
Over here on this street is what you mean by
everything. Yeah, they could start on that corner and go all the way around and should be, finished but wait at that corner.
Did they
and
say
do the
anything
front.
about our retaining wall fence back there?
No, they said the retaining wall was fine. We're going to keep up the old fence and we're going to fence in front of the retaining wall. So the big concrete retaining wall will just have the fencing in front of it so that back one can catch anything that may fall. And then where the big pine trees are, they're going to go in front and then back toward the original fence. But they're going to leave about a 2-foot cushion on that original fence line so that if something were to occur, you could still kind of get back in there if you needed to. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah, that's gonna be good.
Are any questions other than that? I'm done then.
That's great.
Thank you.
Did they say how long they think that it'll take?
The playground said 2 weeks, but now if we have all that rain come in that's supposed to this week, that'll delay it. But they're thinking 2 weeks. The fence hasn't given me a time frame
they're
yet.
Gonna put in some kind of retainer for all the rubber stuff.
No, we're going to see if we can take all of this. Oh, for the playground, yes, they'll use our original.
Oh, the black.
They'll use our original, and we have extras in the back if any of them are busted or whatever.
Okay.
Yes. Sorry, I misunderstood.
At least those are going to good use.
Mm-hmm.
I guess down to public comment. No public comment. Okay. This is new. Okay, so we're down to the consent agenda.
Those are the last minutes.
Do we have minutes from? Yeah, we should.
I did. Yeah.
You did.
They should be on the bottom of your email.
Sorry.
I hope so, guys.
think you sent them out right after the last meeting, though.
Oh, the minutes? Here they are, guys. I have a copy.
Okay.
I didn't realize that's what you were looking for.
Yeah, he's working down in Albuquerque right
I'll
now.
make a motion to approve all the consent agenda.
Second.
All in favor? Courtney, aye. Heather?
Yes.
Reed? Yes. Nick?
Yes.
And
That's this.
we have a compact now for attendance.
Yeah, I wanted to write something up just to kind of let parents kind of see the school's responsibility, parent and student, and how that affects the.
And then they
Success.
sign it and return it to us.
Yep.
Yeah, we need to vote on.
He
we
just
just
approved it.
voted on
He
that.
just approved
Oh,
it.
that's right. That's right. So broken out separately here, I guess. We've got the monthly financial statement. You there, Katie?
Sorry, guys.
There you go.
I'm eating my soup.
Oh, bad throat.
My children did this to me.
First week of school or second week of school.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let me go get my presentation. And for my screen. Oh, Kimberly, can you give me permission to share?
Oh, yes. Let me see. Share screen. Allow. Share screen. This happened last time too. Let's see.
Maybe at the bottom, I think.
Yeah, it says share screen. Allow to share screen.
Yeah.
All right, but it's giving me permission. We go to more. Setting.
If you can make me host, maybe I can do it.
Now you're asking big stuff. Let me see here. Participants. We go to Katie. I'm going to go more. I bet it's under there. Make a host. There you go.
Okay, now let's see if I can do it. Oop. Haha, look at me. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
All right. All right. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so I'll go through the forecast first. So there's not a lot of changes right now. This is mostly just your budget. And you have a balanced budget. I just moved some of the revenue down here to the essentially getting balance or the fund balance. And the only thing that we did change, there were some adjustments to our expenses. So I put your real payroll that we currently use in your payroll bucket and your benefits bucket. Because when we make this, we don't know exactly who we're hiring or what the salaries are going to be. And then I updated our risk insurance. So, but on the revenue side, there are no large changes right now. We're estimating that we're going to probably have about $1 million fund balance again. And some of my estimates in your expenses might be a little conservative. So, we might even be a little higher than that. But we are going to use our capital outlay money this year, which is good. Here's our cash flow, although it's tiny because we're at the beginning of the year. But essentially what it says is we're going to land around 170. We're projected to land around 170 days of cash, which is good because the new requirement is anywhere between 30 and 60, and we are well above that. One thing I want to point out is the cash that we are calculating is just New Cinda and New Mexico Bank and Trust. PED sent me today the form I need to fill out to get the revenue to start going into New Mexico Bank and Trust. It's still going into New Cinda, and we're just transferring it over. But I will I'll fill out that form so that everything will live in New Mexico Bank and Trust. We can move the rest of New Cinda over, and then we can be done with that account here pretty soon. It does look like we have a steady decline, which is fine because we're still ending around the $1 million mark here, but this does not include Hillcrest, which we have over 200,000 in. So we are looking like we're going to have a good year on the revenue and the budget side, which is great. One of the big changes from last year to this year, which we talked about, but those ESSER funds went away, but we use those ESSER funds to try to increase our operational. So we knew that we were slowly going to be eating at our reserve over the next few years when those went away. We are currently working on the audit. As soon as we are done with this meeting, I'm going to send a box sign to each and every one of you for the audit. And all it is a conflict of interest. And you just need to tell us if, based on the questions they're asking, if you have a conflict or not. From board members, the answer is no. But you should read the questions and answer. I need it done by Friday if possible, so I can turn that into the auditor. And also our future items, as Kimberly mentioned, are capital outlay projects. So here are our two bank balance, our bank recs. This is New Mexico Bank and Trust. We started with $1 million. We transferred at the end of June. And here's our balance, because right now the only thing that's hitting it are disbursements, so expenses. Here's the New Cinda bank balance. You can see there are fewer expenses hitting and more revenue hitting. And here's a list of all the revenue that did come in the month of July. And some of these were from last year. And then here's our July bank rec. We didn't cut too many checks in July. That's pretty normal. We cut the big ones like our risk insurance and some of the ones that we needed to start the year. Plum Crazy for plumbing. But you'll probably see a lot more hitting in August. And then we have two bars tonight. The bars are just the same bar you approved last time. PED wanted it split up. So I've never had to do this before, but they want a bar for the current year revenue, which is $21,450. And they wanted another bar for last year's carryover revenue, which is $4,430. And they're both for IDEA, which is our special ed federal funding, 24106. So again, it's the same amount you approved last time. It's just split up to two bars.
So Katie, we have two bars to approve tonight?
Yep. It's 005I and 006I.
Is there a third bar? I have a third one on mine. You have a third bar? I see a third one for 10,427.
Oh yeah, Katie, I've got 004, 005, and 006.
Oh, I was wrong. There's another one. I was wrong. Sorry. I didn't do this one. Someone else did it, and so I forgot about it. So this is the amount of money we have for our universal free lunch state funded program. So the state funds part of our food program. And so that's what, so they're estimating paying us about $10,000 for food this year. So yes, we have 3 bars.
I'll make a motion to approve the monthly financial statement as presented by Katie Rick.
I'll second.
All in favor? Courtney, aye. Heather?
Yes.
Reed?
Yes.
Nicholas?
Yeah.
And I'll make a motion to approve the bars
I'll second.
All in favor, Courtney, aye. Heather,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
and Nick.
Yes.
And that's, I guess we still go through,
Bylaw.
All right, I'm going to let. I'm going to.
yeah, you go rest.
I'm gonna go make Kimberly the host. There we go. Ugh. Use
All
my-
right. Do you do that now?
Yeah, I'll do it. I can do it.
Perfect.
All right, thanks, guys. I'll see you soon.
Feel better.
Thanks.
I'm not seeing bylaw changes attached to.
So it's not, Dan is on the
Oh, okay.
call because, there was a couple of things he wanted to discuss before we put it in place.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Sounds great.
Is that what's up? Dan, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear
Okay.
me?
We're ready for any bylaw discussion.
Yeah, we went through, so I say we, Sam Gonzalez also works with me, went through the bylaws, kind of identified some changes to make. I think, being charitable, I think the bylaws haven't been looked at in a while. And so I think there's some things that we can tighten up and want to amend. But we didn't have all the edits done for tonight, so I think we'll take them up in September. Just at a very high level, some of it goes to like how you select board members. You have an election process in there now, which probably not what we want. And then there's some sort of technical stuff that needs to change because of some changes in law, but we'll have all those ready to go for next month.
I'll make a motion to table the review and vote on bylaw changes.
I'll second.
All in favor, Courtney, aye. Heather,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Nick.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you. And
No problem, and I'm happy to be on board and happy to be working with y'all.
Yeah, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
We
We're
look forward to
excited.
working with you.
Appreciate it.
actually, I had one question. What would you recommend that we do in lieu of the elections? How are there legal considerations to?
Yeah, so most schools have a process where the board just votes on new members. So that's kind of the most typical way that a charter school board in New Mexico operates. So I guess it's an election technically because the governing council is voting to bring on a board member. But that's kind of the right, I would say, way to do it. There's some schools have different kind of preferences about governing councils. So some schools explicitly will say, no parents to serve on the board. Some will have a parent seat. Some boards kind of identify certain needs that they have. I don't think you need to get that kind of deep into that analysis or maybe detail, but I do think it's going to be a lot easier to staff the board if going from an election to just kind of the standard appointment process. So that's kind of my judgment there.
Now, when you put that kind of rule in place where the board is electing other board members, I've noticed the examples I've looked at, they had term limits. Is since you seem to have a structure where probably no one's ever going to get voted out. Only people.
Right. I'd say there's a mix of schools. Some schools do really tight term limits without any terms with term limits, and some don't do term limits. Yeah, I think there's kind of two poles. One is you have a school board that's, some schools where the board doesn't change very often. And then somewhere you have a kind of a rotation. I think I'm sensitive to, it's really hard to staff charter school boards in general. And so if you have term limits, you might have somebody who's really strong on the board and then they have to sit out and you don't have a good replacement. There's also the element of, um, you know, for good or for bad, when someone's been on the board for a long time, they have a lot of knowledge and expertise that sometimes is helpful. So I don't have a strong preference in terms of term limits. I think it's something if you're interested in, I do have lots of examples and have drafted, those provisions. And the way, we do term limits is to stagger terms so that, people aren't rolling off at the same time. So you wouldn't have more than one member leave each year, basically, ideally.
Dan, I do have another question for you because our current bylaws state that we have the election in the first or second week of September. Is it the second week of September?
Second.
And our next governance council meeting is not until after that. Do we need to go ahead and have an election this year? Do we need to change the bylaw tonight?
I think you're fine not changing it tonight, and then we can adopt, an amended bylaws at the next meeting. I think it's good to follow the bylaws, so I'm not, wouldn't advise you not to do that. But, you're not going to run into legal problems, especially on that sort of thing, if you deviate slightly from the bylaws.
Okay.
So I don't think there's anything to do tonight. And I think yeah, I just think let's get a, amendment to the bylaws in next month anyway, and then that'll kind of resolve that. Um, September is a little bit of an odd time of year to do that also, but I understand it was probably just based on when staff is back. But a lot of times we look to, July as the time for, those sorts of elections, whether it's, I mean, yours is a little bit different, but a lot of times you have an election of officers in July, just to have it kind of at a time when there's not a lot of other action going on.
Gotcha. Okay, so we can just postpone until after the next meeting, and then we'll amend the bylaws and continue from there. Thank you.
Thanks a bunch, Dan.
Welcome, and if anyone has any questions, feel free to reach out.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.
So we already tabled that. And what did we do with the COVID?
So all I did was the CDC has pretty much just kind of chunked it into a communicable disease, a disease that can be spread easily. So their new guidance is that the current policy says if you have COVID, you have to stay out for 5 days. And then after those 5 days, if your symptoms are better and you have no fever without fever reducing medication, then you can come back to school and you mask for 5 more days. That's what the current policy says. The new advice says that they do not have to wait 5 days. They simply have to make sure that they are both fever free without fever medication for 24 hours and have improved symptoms. If they have those two things, then they can come back, but they still have to mask for 5 days. So it's just a slight tweak to what we had approved last August. And then this is this August, just updating it again, because we're already seeing it. It's already about, and, we've had some kids and some staff that have succumbed to it. So they've followed the current policy, but the current policy is extra protective, I guess, than what the CDC guidelines are saying now. So if you approve the policy tonight, it will go in alignment with what the CDC is saying. And I did reach out to our Jessica Cross to find out, did she know any more than what I was seeing? And she advised the same thing to just go with what the CDC is saying, because some people it's hitting really hard and other people it's not. And so she felt like the minimum requirements would be acceptable.
I'll make a motion to accept the COVID policy changes.
I'll second.
All in favor, Courtney, aye, Heather?
Yes.
Reed?
Yes.
And Nick?
Yes.
I did have a question on the agenda just for notes. 6 is discussion and possible action items on removed consent agenda. Does that
No, that's if y'all did do an assent. If you moved it down, then that would be a space for you, but you didn't move anything off.
We're skipping E. Executive session now.
All right, Dan, we're going to executive session. So I will
Okay,
see you later.
take care, everyone. I'm gonna log off.
Have to vote on it.
no action items or votes were taken in the executive session?
And I guess we don't really have any important announcements right now.
I told you all the cool stuff that's about to happen. I will say one announcement that you should be aware of is that we are talking with the possibility of going for just a little bit more capital outlay so that we can finish off those buildings, because we're just shy by about, maybe 200,000. I mean, 250 would be better just to have the cushion, but we're talking about trying to raise money so that we can get a lobbyist to get that for us.
To finish.
So to knock out the workroom hallway in the current new building and expand out back toward the fence again, like making the letter C, with 2 rooms, a little workroom, and bathroom.
That's phase C.
I guess so. I call it Phase C. So that's my only announcement.
Yeah, that was. She was talking. The architect was talking about adding these rooms on this side. That would be phase D, I guess. Or something.
And with your approval, if it does happen that we get all the funding, I would like to hire her to design it out, because she knows the area, or at least put in desired do it if she wants to, as one of our options. We'd still have to hire it out CES or ACE, because CES or ACES, because then it's not a.
'Cause that was like that was an alternative to.
Yes.
So that could be phase C.
Mm-hmm.
Our next regular meeting at we're gonna keep 5:30. Is that okay? All have to be here, or we'll get Joe down on something.
Do we need to change it, Nick? Because Reed's saying he's not going to be here.
What day is that?
Monday.
Monday.
Okay, yeah, I think I can. Pretty sure.
Or do you want to move it up? Move it up to the 9th. Gotcha.
Go for 2 weeks.
Give it a go.
That's
We'll
fine.
keep it where it is and see.
Okay. Sounds good. We'll adjourn.
I do.